Welcome to the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agency's North American Trapper Education Course video series. In this short video, we're going to discuss the best management practices for trapping in the United States program. This program is designed to scientifically evaluate trapping devices as a way to determine which traps are the best for licensed trappers, researchers, managers, for anyone engaged in trapping to use. These best management practices are often called BMPs for short. And the best way to learn about BMPs is to answer some common questions about them. So first of all, let's talk about who's developing BMPs. The Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies, or AFWA, is the lead agency developing BMPs. AFWA membership includes all 50 state fish and wildlife agencies, many federal agencies, and numerous conservation organizations like Ducks Unlimited and the National Wild Turkey Federation. There's also a strong partnership within this program between trapper associations, state and federal agency wildlife biologists and wildlife veterinarians, universities, and even the Wildlife Society, all working together. The BMP program is a model of how conservation needs to be conducted. Let's talk about what kind of testing goes into developing the BMPs. The BMP program is the most extensive trap research program ever conducted. Since 1996, we've tested over 600 trapping devices, including foothold traps, foot encapsulating traps, body grip traps, cage traps, and cable restraint devices for 23 species of fur bearers. The traps we choose to test are based on what trappers have told us they commonly used and the advice of expert trappers and biologists. Now let's talk about what a BMP is. A BMP is the synthesis of the scientific evaluation of a trap and the experience of expert trappers who've used the trap to capture fur bearers. We put this information together in a document for each of the 23 fur bearer species to provide advice on the best traps to use. Now let's talk about the objectives of the BMP program. The main objective of the program is to sustain agency-regulated trapping programs so agencies can continue to use trapping to manage wildlife and habitats with the help of licensed trappers who want to engage in this activity. Another objective is to improve the welfare of animals captured in traps. No one wants to see animals injured by the trap during the capture process, and we're using science to improve that. Another objective is to educate everyone we can about modern regulated trapping. Many people don't understand trapping. Most people don't participate in it. But in order for trapping to continue, we have to provide scientific information about it to wildlife professionals, to trappers, and to the many publics. Let's talk about the criteria now. What do we mean by the word best when we say best management practices? Well, trapping BMPs are being developed to give wildlife professionals and trappers the information they need to improve trapping, that is, make it the best it can be. And so we worked with organizations that set high scientific standards to improve everything from seat belts to bicycle helmets, and we had them help us figure that out. And so we worked with the International Organization for Standardization, or ISO, and we worked with the American National Standards Institute to develop the testing protocol and the evaluation criteria. Wildlife biologists, wildlife veterinarians, trappers, and others participated in this process. Now, in the BMP program, we evaluate traps by 5 criteria. First is animal welfare. We use the welfare standards that were developed by ISO for live restraint and lethal trapping systems. And in order for a trap to meet BMP welfare standards, it must have a very low rate of injury for animals caught alive, and for animals captured in lethal systems, they must die very quickly. Live captured animals are examined by wildlife veterinarians who score their injuries in 2 different ways based on the protocol. Lethal systems are typically evaluated in a compound laboratory setting. This evaluation system is designed to ensure that a live captured animal could be released and its abilities to survive will not be impaired. The second criteria is efficiency. We make sure that BMP traps actually capture animals effectively, so when a trap is sprung by, say, a coyote, the trap must catch that coyote the majority of the time. The third criteria is selectivity. And what we mean by that is the trap should be able to capture a desired fur bearer and avoid the unintended capture of other species. Another criteria is safety. Traps have to be safe and not pose a significant risk to the user or anyone else who might come in contact with it. And then there's practicality. We look at cost, ease of use, ease of transport, reliability, versatility, and the potential lifespan of the trap. And I guess if there's one more thing that I could say about the BMP program that we want you to know, the use of BMPs is voluntary. I would think that most trappers would want to use traps that have been scientifically evaluated to be the best. And in fact, we know from surveys of trappers that the vast majority are already using those traps, and we hope at some point every trapper will use them. Hopefully you now have a better understanding of best management practices for trapping and how they're developed, and we want to thank you for watching this. Also, we want to encourage you to watch all the videos in the AFWA North American Trapper Education Course video series. And we'd also encourage you to go to the association website, check out all the BMPs and all the other information we have about trapping there.